A suspect has been arrested in connection with the 5 shootings that appeared to target homeless men in New York City and D.C. The Metropolitan Police Department of D.C. announced at around 5:40 a.m. local time Tuesday that officials have arrested the man they believe is responsible for the attacks. The suspect, whose identity has not been made public, is now being questioned by the department's homicide unit. Early this a.m., law enforcement arrested the suspect in Washington. He is currently being interviewed at our homicide branch. Additional information will be forthcoming. Thanks to the community for all your tips, D.C. police tweeted. D.C. authorities say the investigation is ongoing. The arrest came shortly after police released clear images of the suspect across social media. N.Y.C. Mayor Eric Adams and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser addressed the public Monday night and called on both communities to report any information to police. Adams and Bowser called the suspect a cold-blooded killer and the shootings heartbreaking and tragic. Between March 3 and March 9, the man is believed to have shot 3 homeless people in DC's northeast section on 3 different occasions, according to a news release by the Metropolitan Police Department of D.C. One victim, who was also stabbed and set on fire, was pronounced dead by first responders. On the morning of Saturday, March 12, an unidentified man, believed to be the same suspect, allegedly shot a 38-year-old man in the arm while he was sleeping in Lower Manhattan, the release stated. Soon after, he was caught on surveillance video kicking a homeless man in N.Y.C's Chinatown district before shooting him in the head and neck. The first victim survived, but the second victim succumbed to his wounds and was not discovered for nearly 12 hours. According to the news release, New York and D.C. authorities teamed up on the case after determining that due to evidence recovered at the crime scenes, common circumstances surrounding the shootings, and a similar MO, they may be looking for the same suspect. The past week's attacks come on the heels of widespread hysteria surrounding the homeless population after a slew of violent incidents, particularly in New York, have been attributed to people without housing. To stay up to date on the best of what has to offer, from juicy celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. In February, Adams responded to reports of violence at the hands of homeless men by implementing a controversial zero-tolerance plan that ordered police officers to more closely monitor the subway system and prevent homeless people from seeking shelter on trains and in stations. Now, New York Police Department officers are receiving additional orders to proactively engage with apparently homeless individuals, according to an internal memo obtained by WABC. That instruction includes conducting wellness checks and offering shelter services, according to the outlet. In Washington, advocates are equally disturbed by the latest violence against people without shelter that has invaded their community. Ralph Boyd, CEO of So Others Might Eat, a DC-based organization that supports people struggling with homelessness and poverty, wants people to remember that there are many paths and stories of how individuals and families can become homeless and that housing status does not diminish their dignity and worth as people. The effects of living unsheltered and not having an address bring even greater danger and dislocation to these underserved and vulnerable populations, Boyd tells.